Hey, happy Thursday. How we doing? I know I said I wasn't going to be back today, but here I am. Hey, I got a Windsor I got to check out. So here we go, a 351 Windsor, 1994. I took out the cam bearings and freeze plugs a couple weeks ago. Now this one. So I actually surfaced these heads a couple months ago. Boy, they were smoked. This thing got very hot. Just barely hit on the end here. Man. And just barely hit on the end. Boy, that helicoil tap, it really squealed. I thought I was going to bust it. So this is in here to, he wants to try to re-ring it. The pistons are collapsed, so let's see how the bores are. I'm going to check the deck, make sure it's not warped. He still wants to get by as cheap as possible. So let me get it magged, and then I'll get it in the home. Okay, I did a light buff on this thing. This isn't a block prep bore job, so that's all they're going to get as far as cleaning goes, other than the final wash. So I got my Magnafluxer. This is an electromagnet. And I got my pixie dust here. Problem is the pixie dust is about gone. So I got a fresh can of pixie dust. That stuff used to go for about 20 bucks. That can was $70, $69.99. Sounds like some kind of a body repair, huh? Earl Shive. Never mind. Let me fill that bulb up and mag it. Okay, now this is full, and I got something to squish later. Let me mag it. Okay, I magged it, and it's not broken. If it would have been broken, I'd show it to you. You've seen me mag stuff before. Let me check the deck and make sure it's flat, because this thing did get smoking hot. Nice and flat. It's good. Let me get it in the home. Okay, I got it in the CK-10, and I have to adjust the own head. So I need to adjust the shims on this. And I do that. So I use this to determine how thick the shims are. This goes on here, and I crank it up to the diameter of the bore. And I just put it in here and slide this. And this tells me, so let me get it out of here. I need 14 thousandths of shims. So I pull this out. So I have a 15. That'll be too thick. So I'm going to try this 11. And it just pops on here. And then I check it again. Now it says I got 4, but 4 will be too much. I'm going to add a 2. And then this will be a little bit loose. Perfect. Let me do the other one, and I'll be right back. And I'm just adding the last one on this one. These are different. So this is brass, and it wears more than the other one. It's steel. Well, not steel. I don't know what it is. Now I need to measure how long the bore is. Almost 6 inches. You can see here, this is adjustable. It's already on 6 from the last block, almost on 6. Let me go ahead and lengthen it just a little to 6. There we go. Come over here to the bore. Now I have to set the height of the block. The wheel out here. Okay, I got load on it. I need to raise the block up to the height of this stone. Bump the camera there. There you go. Now I'm the proper height. Let me put the guard up. Good, you guys can still see. Now I'm going to turn it on. The bottom is always tighter than the top. So I'm going to stop at the bottom. I'm going to go really slow to the bottom to make sure I don't hit that webbing. Good. That doesn't look too bad. Let me give it just another stroke or two. I'm going to dwell one more time, and then I'll do one stroke without it. Well, it dwelled anyway. I'll let the pressure off. Okay, here we go. Now let's see what we got. Bam. A little over a thou over. Well, you're not on camera, are you? There we go. Here we are at the bottom. Hour and a half or so. Let's check up here in the top. About 2. Okay, let me do them all. Boy, this is really hard to do with you guys right there. There you go. Can you still see? Okay, here's what we got on this side. You can see where the hone doesn't touch. Kind of strange way down here on the oil ring, putting a wear mark in there. That usually doesn't happen. These bores aren't the end of the world. If he decides to go with this hone job, I'll ball hone it and hide a little bit of that. Let me put the gauge in here and see what we got. Thou and a half there at the bottom. About a thou at the bottom. This was the top, sorry. Thou and a half. Let's see how round it is. About a thou there at the top. Thou at the bottom. So it's fairly round at the bottom. The top's about a half out. That one's 2 at the top. Hard to do filming and doing this with one hand. 2 at the top. Now at the bottom. Not the end of the world. Here, check the side of this one. I'm going to let the customer decide what he wants to do. Here, I didn't check down in here in this worn spot. It's going to be worn quite a bit in there. Hold on. It's hard to get in there. About 3. There's 4 right there. But that's not the end of the world either. There you go. I'll give that guy a call in the morning, let him decide what he wants to do. He definitely is going to get some pistons, whether they be standards or 20 overs. It does need board. It'll probably be okay with a re-ring and new pistons, but I'm not a fan of putting a new piston in an old bore. You can end up with a noise. That's just the way it is. So the ball's in his court. I do whatever the customer pays me to do. So thanks for coming along on this Thursday, you guys. Hey, you guys come back and see me again, all right? Be nice to each other, please.